What's up, y'all? It's Zems, and welcome to another reaction video. I couldn't yell in the beginning like I wanted to. My voice is gone. It's been a lot of yelling in the past week, so my voice has left me, so I'm going to do my best to commentate. I wanted to react to a video because I wouldn't want to go 2 weeks without posting something. It doesn't hurt or anything like that. It's just I lost my voice from work. So, yeah, this video is by Evil Intentions, so if you guys haven't already, make sure you swoop down to the description box. Click on the link, go watch this video in entirety, because I'm going to be pausing, stopping, and talking through the whole thing. If you guys are new to the channel, my name is Zems, and the long welcome to the crow's nest.
Yo, I'm Romeo, I got to make an entrance. Nice suit, come with an 8-track.
What you're watching right now are scenes taken from sitcoms The Steve Harvey Show and The Cosby Show. Both feature a rising star from New York City, whose talents would get him recognition and take him as far as he wanted to go. His name was Merlin Santana, from the Upper West Side of New York City. His name was quickly becoming known, and the future star's many talents were beginning to truly shine. But one day, without anyone suspecting it, Merlin's life would be cut short when he became the center of a revenge plot that he had nothing to do with. Whenever you hear stories about people making it out of the hood and becoming successful at something bigger than themselves, for most of us, it's a great feeling. It gives us that feeling that if they can do it, so can I. I can make it out too. For me, I think about names like the Wayans brothers, who grew up in the projects down in Chelsea. They became hugely successful, and they brought the whole family along for the ride. Jordan Peele is one of the most successful and respected directors in the game right now, and he was raised on the Upper West Side by a single mom, and he made it out. A long list of musical acts from Jay-Z to Cardi B, from Brooklyn to the Bronx, have all made it out the hood and achieved mass success. But there's also a very long list of those who did everything they could to make it out and not get caught up. Somehow the harsh code of the streets still take them under anyway.
Man, I'm telling you, just like Nipsey Hussle, man. Nipsey Hussle was trying to bring wealth and positivity back to the community, and they killed him. That's why I like, as much as I love the hood and where I grew up from, like I grew up in South Central Los Angeles, so it was rough. Like over there on 74th and Butlong near Florence in Vermont, that area and down, bro, not even. I was over in like A-Tray Gangsters hood. Like that's a gang for people that don't know. It's a Crip gang in Los Angeles. So it was a lot of that. There was a lot of gang violence, a lot of shootings, a lot of drugs, especially growing up. I'm glad I turned out at least decent. I lost a lot of friends along the way, and most of the friends I grew up with are either dead on drugs or I don't know what happened to them. But the hood takes people, and sometimes people make it out the hood. Thank my mom for that, because if my mom didn't move, I think I'd be dead right now. And that's just me being honest with you. But that's the goal of every person that lives in the hood, to pick up sports, music, or you hustle. Those like the 3 ways that you can get out of the hood, unless you try to go through education, which would be like the 4th route. But most of the time, a lot of people didn't make it through education because there was so many distractors and bad influences growing up, and people like, oh, you want to make money, and that's what it was. Like, you want to make money, you go make money. But you make it out the hood, and either you're going to be able to put the whole family on, or the family's going to be jealous that you made it out and not them, or they're going to be expecting you to do things for them all the time. So they're going to be like, oh, well, he got it, so I don't have to go get it myself. And it's like, no, it's not like that. I got it out here so you can go and get on your feet. You know, I can help you get on your feet, but I'm not about to just take care of you for the rest of your life just because I made it. And that's what some of the expectations are in some households when they're growing up in the hood. If I missed anything, let me know down in the comment section. Again, just because I grew up in Los Angeles doesn't mean you didn't suffer. Everybody's suffer and struggle is different, but I'm not taking away from anyone else's struggle. This is just what I seen from my perspective. It might be different in Chicago. It might be different in Japan. It might be different in Germany, because everyone has a struggle in some sort of way, and it's just laid out differently. So if you have a story to share, or if you have any advice to give anybody, feel free to let me know down in the comment section.
Today on Evil Intentions, the story of Merlin Santana. Merlin Santana was born on March 14th, 1976. In New York City. Merlin was born to his mother, a woman by the name of Leah Santana, a Dominican native. From the moment that Merlin was about to be born, life would immediately throw a curveball at Leah, whom was told by doctors that if Merlin was born, it would be a true miracle. Leah had complications with birth, giving Merlin a 50-50 chance of surviving, which of course was just about the scariest thing that a parent can hear. But Merlin pulled through and beat those odds. Leia wanted to find a name that really represented her child and his battle to survive. She would name him Merlin, as in Merlin the Magician, one of King Arthur's wizards, and he'd often introduce himself to people as this. Leia felt this name fit her child perfectly because it was sorta like magic. Merlin was her miracle child. Merlin was described as a very funny and charismatic little boy. As far back as anyone can remember, he was always known for making jokes and making people laugh.
Damn,
Merlin's personality was as bright as could be, and for people who are on the hunt for talent, it was very easy to see that Merlin had something special about him. When he was just 3 years old, Merlin and his mother were out one day when, by chance, they came across a talent scout and a conversation started. He noticed Merlin's charisma and he strongly felt that to some capacity, Merlin belonged on TV or on the big screen. So, he would suggest that Merlin's mother try getting him into the fast-paced world of show business. The talent scout would suggest that Leia take Merlin to an audition for a fast food campaign that was happening soon. Merlin landed the job, and here started his love and passion for the big screen. Having started out young, the world of acting was an open playing field for Merlin, and he had a major advantage over others who were on the same path as him. Merlin was bilingual, speaking both English and Spanish, making for more opportunities when it came to castings. Once Merlin landed that fast food ad commercial, things never quite slowed down, and he was well on his way to stardom. The neighborhood Merlin grew up in around the Upper West Side was well known for being an area where pretty much anything can happen. Anything from gang violence to drug dealing to drug abuse, all very common, especially in the 80s and 90s. Merlin attended Ascension School on Upper Manhattan's 108th Street, where he would make a ton of friends and everyone knew him. But being in a neighborhood with a reputation, acting for Merlin was a way to keep him out of trouble and not land him in situations where the environment around him could send him down the wrong path. Definitely not an easy task. As someone who grew up in the same neighborhood as Merlin, and who still has family and friends there, I can tell you from personal experience that this area of the Upper West Side wasn't always so calm. In the 90s, drug wars ran rampant between rival crews. The neighborhood often had curfews due to the violence, and at the root of it all was money, power, and respect. She had her work cut out for her, but Merlin's mother knew her son had a gift, and she was determined to see Merlin succeed and not become a statistic. In 1990, Merlin's life would be forever changed when he was casted in a play called Hey Little Walter. Now, he didn't know it at this point, but this one gig would change things forever. Sitting in the crowd on one of the nights that Merlin performed was Bill Cosby. He was so impressed by Merlin's performance and portrayal of this character that Cosby would end up having them write a new character into the immensely popular Cosby Show. Merlin would portray the lovable and funny Stanley, Rudy Huxtable's boyfriend. Once Merlin landed this gig, his career took off with no signs of slowing down.
That's crazy.
Once the Cosby Show was coming to an end, Merlin was immediately casted in another TV sitcom called Getting By. He was casted alongside Dionne Richman, another child star and friend of Merlin's, and also a New York native who grew up in the Harlem section of New York. The two of them had great chemistry on screen, and they knew each other for a while from their time on The Cosby Show. Getting By would air between March of 1993 and June of 1994. When it was canceled.
That's what I tell you guys, man. If you have a dream, if you have a goal, keep doing it because you never know who's watching. Like, you just never know. Just be who you are. Go out there and just do what you can. Like, you just never know who's listening. You could sit out in the stage if you play music and play in front of 30 people every day this whole year, and then one day you could just play one song and one person. All it takes is one certain person to hear it, and your life is changed forever. If you draw, all it takes for you to put one picture somewhere on Facebook or somewhere, and then next thing you know, you're up there. So everything doesn't happen overnight. So if you have a dream or a goal, keep doing it because you just never know. Like, not trying to say I've made it or anything like that, but literally 3 months ago, I was at 7,000 subscribers and I gained 2,000 something subscribers, and I've been doing this forever, and that's never happened. You know what I mean? It's continuously and it's constantly going up. So just keep doing what you're doing. It's all going to pay off. You know what I mean? Like, it is. I know it is. And it may not be the way that you think, but it's going to be enough to keep you going. Every time you get ready, like, I don't know, I'm feeling it right now. You're going to find that little bit of light that's going to push you to keep following your dream. So I encourage you to keep doing it. And if you're not following your dream, I suggest you start today.
Sometime later, Merlin would make a move from New York City to Los Angeles at the age of only 19.
LA, baby.
He was well on his way. He was very much focused and decided he would spend his time in North Hollywood, laying low key in the San Fernando Valley. He was excited to be pursuing his dreams and living on his own. He would keep in touch with family and friends constantly, and work continued to flow in for Merlin. And in 1996, he would land yet another pivotal role for his career when he was casted as Romeo Santana in the immensely popular Steve Harvey Show. Now, while others in the spotlight and in positions like Merlin's battled certain demons that came with stardom, Merlin always stood clear of the threats. He stood away from drugs, he kept focus, and by the time his career was flourishing, Merlin would start to take the steps to also starting a music career. He was also a talented rapper, and he had the image and popularity that would eventually come with that role. It was even said that Merlin might have had a good amount of music that never saw the light of day. He took music just as serious as he did acting. During his time on the Steve Harvey Show, Merlin would portray Romeo, a student at Booker T. Washington High School on Chicago's West Side. He was a smooth-talking playboy who had a great reputation with the ladies. Although a sitcom, in the show, Merlin would display a wide variety of talents, showing how good of an actor he was when it came to serious roles as well as comedy. The character of Romeo would begin to blend with the real-life Merlin, who was becoming an even bigger ladies' man on and off the screen. He was starting to get recognized on the streets. His hard work and all those years on screen was paying off, and the sky was the limit for him. He was already getting famous, starring in movie roles alongside Eddie Murphy and Robert De Niro. But still, he never forgot where he came from. Although he was already getting money and living his dream, he could often be seen on his old block of 107th and Manhattan Avenue, riding a motorcycle around and being among the peers he grew up with. He was as down to earth as they came. Over the course of his career, Merlin would also make appearances on shows like Moesha, Sister Sister, Hanging with Mr. Cooper, and Under One Roof, just to name a few.
Don't you play the rat unless you want to wind up in the sewer like one. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Good.
I know exactly what you're saying. Hold on a minute. Mira, este es mi nieto. El papá de él fue el que tú casi le metiste una bala. Así que no enseñe la cara por aquí o la cosa se va a poner heavy, mi hermano. ¿Tú me estás oyendo? Yeah, all right. Act like you know.
When did you learn to talk like that?
My mom's. She was Dominican.
The future was very bright for Merlin. He knew it, and everybody else around him knew it. But unfortunately, when you're an up-and-coming star from a certain background, you can't ever be too sure if the intentions of those around you are pure. Merlin's accolades were beginning to pile up, receiving nominations from the NAACP Image Awards, as well as the ALMA Awards, an award ceremony that honors Latinos in the industry. But on the evening of Friday, November 8th, 2002, a certain set of events would unfold, resulting in the young star's tragic passing, and nobody saw it coming. On this day, Merlin was spending the night recording music at a friend's home in the Crenshaw district of Los Angeles, California.
Crenshaw.
He was accompanied by one of his best friends, another talented actor by the name of Brandon Quentin Adams, known for his work on cult classics The People Under the Stairs and bigger movies like The Sandlot, and also for portraying the kid version of Michael Jackson in the mini version of Bad. He would also go on to star in other popular shows like The Fresh Prince, Moesha, Sister Sister, and many others. Merlin had originally made plans to go back home to New York City so that he could visit friends and family. He wasn't even supposed to be in Los Angeles this week, but he would remain in Los Angeles longer than he was supposed to because of a last-minute audition for a new TV show. He changed his plans, and his trip to New York never happened. Later that evening, around midnight, Merlin would make a call to a woman who went by the name of Mercedes. Mercedes was someone Merlin and Brandon met some time before at a Chinese restaurant in LA. The woman introduced herself, and she knew she recognized him from the Steve Harvey Show. Merlin was flattered and happy to be recognized as anyone would be. He was living out his dream, and people were starting to take notice. According to sources, the two would then end up having a perfectly consensual night together, and all seemed to be normal. He made that call to Mercedes and asked her if she wanted to hang out with him and a few of his friends, which she was fine with. But when she got there, things seemed very off. Brandon would notice that Mercedes seemed out of sorts and very much nervous to be in the home. She could be seen walking about the home and acting strangely. She did this for a short while and then made a phone call before abruptly saying that she needed to go. As she walked out of the home, Brandon would watch her make her way out, and when he came to the front of the house, he could see Mercedes getting to a large vehicle with two men inside, the same two men who had dropped her off at the home to begin with.
She cased the house for him. Why did she set this dude up, bro? That was weird. Oh man, my red flags went off when she said, she was like, yeah, sure, come over. And then she comes in and she starts walking around the house. One, she's trying to see how many people are in the house. They literally told her to get out the house, or get out of the car, go in there, try to act normal, which she couldn't do, and walk around the house to see how many people are in there before they run up in there and try to rob this dude. They want to see if they had any guns. They want to see if they had any security, or this dude is just sitting in there by himself. That's what it sounds like to me. It sounds like a classic setup, and it's crazy, man. That's why you can't invite every chick back to your house on the first date. You do not know their intentions. You do not know who they are. It might be like, yeah, cool, I'm about to get her back to my place, so we about to have. No, man. Sometimes you got to say no and just pass it. You got to pass it up, man. It's hard. I get it. But stuff like this, man, it just don't happen to celebrities. It happens to regular people too. You hear the stories all the time. Like, oh yeah, I got there early and waited, and then it wasn't a girl at all. It was a dude. You know what I mean? Like, you just don't know, man. Please be careful, y'all. This is not a joke. This happens a lot.
Even though Merlin and Brandon didn't know that. The vehicle would drive off for a few blocks and then stopped. Brandon had a strong feeling that in reality, Mercedes was just casing the home, and maybe it was best if him and Merlin made their way out, because things just didn't feel right. The two would approach their vehicle to leave the area, but when they got inside the car, the situation would quickly escalate from a suspicion of a setup to a full-blown attack. Brandon would be in the driver's seat and Merlin in the passenger side when Brandon looked at the side mirror and saw a red laser. As he looked closer, he could see two men running toward their car, both armed with guns. Brandon would yell for Merlin to duck before pulling off as fast as he could, but as he did that, the two men would begin to fire. The chaotic scene lasted nothing but a few seconds, but those few seconds were enough to change everything forever. As one of the men shot toward the vehicle, one of the bullets would enter through the car's trunk. The trajectory of the bullet would go through the passenger side seat and strike Merlin in the back of the head, killing him instantly. Brandon would look over and see Merlin slumped forward as he yelled his name, hoping that the injury wasn't as bad as it seemed, hoping that Merlin would say something. But Merlin was unresponsive as he bled profusely from his head, indicating that this was much worse. Brandon would flag down a patrol car that happened to be passing by them and told them what happened, but it was too late. Merlin was gone. The only question was, why?
That's what I'm saying.
As police and EMS combed through the vehicle Merlin was killed in, they'd find his cell phone and began to investigate who he last spoke to. Brandon would tell authorities about Merlin's call to Mercedes and how strangely she had been behaving. So the cops thought of an idea. They had Brandon make a call to Mercedes where he would ask her to meet him at a restaurant. She would agree to meet, which was very surprising. But when she did, officers were there waiting to take her in for questioning. It was here that authorities would learn the true reason behind Merlin's death. According to reports, it was said that Mercedes, whose real name was Monique King, had spoken to Merlin on one occasion after they hooked up. She wanted more of a relationship with Merlin, as where he was constantly on the move and not looking for anything very serious. She became highly upset at this and would go back to two men, 21-year-old Damian Andre Gates, said by some to be Mercedes' boyfriend, and 25-year-old Brandon Douglas Bynes. She would tell the two men that Merlin and her were together, but it was against her will, because Merlin forced himself on her and violated her. The two men sought revenge for Monique. It was later learned that she had also told Merlin that she was of legal age, but in actuality, this entire plan, the vicious lie that led to the death of the talented young man, all came from the mind of a 15-year-old girl. At first, when questioned, Monique argued that she did nothing wrong and had nothing to say, until one officer would let her know that she could either be a suspect or be a witness to what happened, seeing as how nobody else saw what happened. After hours of questioning, she herself admitted to lying to these men and having Merlin killed. The two men took her word and followed through with the murder of someone who did absolutely nothing to deserve it. A massive talent taken much too soon, and all because of a girl who couldn't handle rejection, and two men who were stupid enough to believe her lies, throwing their own lives away in the process. Brandon Douglas Bynes was sentenced to 23 years for his role in the death of Merlin Santana. Damian Gates, the man responsible for the shot that killed Merlin, was sentenced to 70 years to life in prison. Monique King, whom lied and set the whole thing up, was a juvenile and tried as an adult. But being tried as an adult really didn't mean too much, since she would only be sentenced to the California Youth Authority, a place for young offenders, to be released at the young age of just 25 years old, meaning she could come out and live a somewhat normal life. At the very least, she had her life, something that Merlin lost, and all because he crossed paths with her.
That's wild, man.
Merlin Santana was buried at St. Raymond's Cemetery in the Bronx. Merlin leaves behind a lot of family and friends who still speak fondly of him till this day, and who miss him very much. His short time with us, he was able to show us that if you want something bad enough, it doesn't matter where you came from, you could get your hands on it. And if you still want it that bad when you have your hands on it, You could take those dreams as far as you want and take control of your future. He was the perfect example of what it means to make it out the hood and make those around you proud to see you rise, proud to see you become a part of something much bigger than yourself, proud to know that someone from somewhere just like you and me could reach for the stars and leave a lasting impression.
Facts.
We may never get to witness how massive of a star Merlin Santana would have undoubtedly been right now, but for all of us who recognize his talents and saw how far he had already been, we knew exactly how far he was going. Rest in peace to Merlin Santana, and my deepest condolences go out to his family and loved ones.
Oh man. Oh man, oh man, oh man. Emotions is a crazy thing. Dude, career gone because of that. A lie. And it's crazy because dudes don't even ask questions. They just go out and do it. They literally go and take the word for everything. And that's like, and it's annoying. Like, it's two sides to every story. Find out what happened first. Like, go talk to them and actually see what happened. Don't just be like, oh, this person said this person said that. Because 9 times out of 10, it probably didn't happen. And just leave it to like the police or something. Don't go over there and try to do street justice because it never turns out that well. I seen a video a long time ago where the dude was like, oh yeah, he did this, he did that. And the 2 brothers run up to try to beat this dude up. He opened up fire and killed both of her brothers when they tried to go into his house. Killed both of them. All because of some stupid story that she told him, and they pulled up to the house and they got both our brothers killed. It's not worth it, man. I know of Merlin Santana, but like watching this documentary, I didn't know he was in that many movies. Like I said, I seen him in a Cosby Show and a Steve Harvey Show and stuff like that because I grew up in the 90s. I grew up in 94. I was able to catch some of those cool, popular, sitcoms that people are watching today. Like they said, Sister Sister and Fresh Prince and Martin and all that other stuff. So I grew up around that, thankfully. You just never know what's going on behind closed doors again. Like I said, it's just talented, man, gifted, against all odds, he was able to make it out. But unfortunately, people are just out to get you. They're jealous. Like they don't understand what they're signing up for, like on the outside. Like they're a celebrity. They're going to do celebrity things and people don't grasp that. You know what I mean? It sucks, but you can't go back to the hood, man. I tell people all the time, if I ever get money, I'm not coming back to the hood. I'll donate and do all that, but I'm not going back there, man, because it's nothing but bad memories there. Like, I love family, but what am I going back to? The streets don't love nobody, and people have to understand that. The streets do not love you. It's unforgiving. One day, someone could be smiling at you, and then the next day, they could be the person behind the trigger that kills you. Like, it's nothing there. Why do people go back? I don't know. Like, I don't got nothing to prove to you. I grew up there. I live there. I'm out. There's nothing for me here. And you or anybody else is not going to make me feel bad about leaving. If I had a chance to leave, I'm going to leave. But yeah, this video is by Evil Intentions. So if you guys haven't already, make sure you swoop down the description box, click on the link, go watch this video in entirety, because I was pausing, stopping, and talking through the whole thing. If you guys are new to the channel, my name is Zems, and welcome to the Crow's Nest. You already know. But again, no one told you today, I love you. Take care of yourself. Have a great weekend. I'll see you guys next time.